For the 6th time in the JBL Cup Series, it is All-Star Night, and we are kicking things off with the Season 6 All-Star Open. 15 drivers, 2 spots plus the fan vote, get into a stacked 24 color All-Star race later tonight. The other 12 drivers will not be able to race, but it's going to be a wild night. It's one of the best short tracks on the 75 laps for the All-Star Open at New Smyrna Speedway. What's up everyone, it's the Brilliance Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to one of my personal favorite short tracks on NR New Smyrna Speedway. We've been here for both seasons of the ARCA series for the finales, and now the second year in a row we are here for the All-Star Night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got 75 laps unit open and then 150 laps for the All-Star race itself later tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And let's see who gets the final 2 spots plus the fan vote into the actual All-Star race. And I believe for the first time ever we got Charlie Downpour, a Krispy Kreme National Series driver, up here in the booth for this one. And welcome to New Smyrna.
Thank you, Nathan. Very exciting track. Lives about 30 minutes away from this track. I've been here before. It's got great racing, and I'm excited to see how this one goes. Like you said, ARC has had 2 finales here, I think you said, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Cup drivers attack this track tonight.
Absolutely, New Smyrna, one of the best tracks, and we've done both East Series finales here, we've done both ARCA finales here, and those have put on bangers. Last year, for the All-Star race, it was a little bit of a wet fest. We toned down the strength for a smidge, 105 to 104. So hopefully we don't see as many wets, but hopefully we keep the same great racing that we saw last year. But for these drivers, there's only 15 in the open, and only the top 2 plus the fan vote make it. So knowing that, how aggressive do you think these guys will be, knowing that this is probably the only chance to make it into the All-Star race here tonight?
I think drivers will start off too aggressive. It's 75 laps like you said, but it is a short track, so those 75 laps are going to go by, well, not really a short track, but those laps are going to go by really fast, so I don't think guys are going to attack too hard early on, but I think towards the middle of the race, that's when guys are going to really start to amp it up and really try to get into that top 2 and make it into the main race.
Absolutely, and you gotta maintain a little composure here. 75 laps is a little bit long, and we'll see what ends up happening. Dylan Matthews is on the pole for the All-Star Open, and alongside her is the number 10 of Bruno Diacomo. Row 2 is both regular racing cars of Wyatt Wilkinson and Duncan Halverston, and unable to barely missed it, making it into the All-Star race as the top 10 driver in points without a win. 11th in points could be a strong contender at making it into the Open. And then Blaine Varga in 6th. 7th is Owen Miles. 8th is Travis Crampton. 9th is last year's Open winner of Eric Monaco back in it once again. And then right now the top 10 is the number 4 of Kenneth Miller. Zachary Fitzwater in the number 71 in 11th. Duncan Wood in 12th. The number 6 of Anthony Hernandez. The 17th of Kyle Sestrai. And right out the field in the number 1 of BB Ruiz. 15 drivers, 75 laps, and realistically, I think it's easy to say that everyone will have a pretty decent chance at this race win. But I'm going to leave it up to you, Charlie. Who do you think will make it into the All-Star race here tonight?
A very tough pick, and with how the racing is here, it's kind of got me in a pickle, but I'm going to go with one of the drivers that are going to make it. I'm going to go with Eric Monaco. He won last year in the Open, so I do think he's going to be able to do it this time around. Maybe not win, maybe get second, but he's one of my picks, and I'd say the second driver to make it, I'm going to go with Duncan Wood. A pretty good season so far, and in 11 starts, he's got about 6 top 10s and 2 top 5s, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what that number 8 can do for RCR.
Definitely a good couple of pits, and I feel like this could be a good summer for Duncan Wood, and we'll see what ends up happening here. Let's go ahead and get these drivers running off for the All-Star Open. Alright, 75 laps on tap here tonight for the All-Star Open, and then here about an hour from now, it will be the All-Star race. And 2 of these drivers will get in the easy way and finishing first or second. And then it will go off of the fan vote. I already know the results, I cannot say until after the end. So it's going to be what ends up happening for that one. But it will be Dylan Matthews and Bruno Giacomo leading us to the green flag for the Season 6 All-Star Open, 75 laps. And let's find out who gets the final 2 spots into the All-Star race. And we have green flag racing at New Smyrna Speedway. Great start from Alan Abel. I mentioned on the top of the show, he barely missed out on getting it in the easy way of getting into the All-Star Open, of being one of the top 10 drivers in points without a win. And he very well could easily just win this race here tonight, up to second. And here comes Owen Miles and his teammate Alberto Camargo, last year's Open winner, as they almost wreck it in the back of the field.
That was very, very close at number 8 right there. But Eric Monaco already making some moves. Now he's looking to the inside of his teammate.
Good one for Monaco. Last year he won this Open, and he could easily do that again. But right now, Abel and Dylan Matthews going after it for the top 2 spots. Right now, these 2 would easily be in.
Number 11. Ooh,
and a great
right
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Don't want to make any contact early on here and end someone else's race, because that could come back to bite you. But that number 11 gets around him cleanly, and he's going to move into the lead now as that number 16 of Eric Monaco moves into 3rd, and now that number 71 looking to the inside for 4th.
Fitzwater cannot say enough good things about Zachary Fitzwater, and he's going to get inside the top 5. But these 2, Matthews and Abel, pulling away. Monaco, will this be something if he can get back-to-back All-Star Open wins? Matthews trying to close back in for the race lead.
One of the guys I was in a pickle with choosing is Travis Crampton in that number 45, and he is already looking to the inside of that 71 now, and he possibly could get the move off going into turn 3.
Crampton is one of the few drivers that's been a 60 veteran, and he's going to take that 4th spot away from Zachary Fitzwater, and it's going to be interesting on how these guys will end up looking throughout this race. 75 laps, not a lot of time, but it's also not a little amount of time. It's enough time to get away from the back to the front.
Yeah.
And we'll see what ends up happening. A tough race for Stu Haas Racing. They had a bad night at Kansas, and good night so far as almost teammates almost went for the last place.
Varga almost got into his teammate there. Luckily does not get into Giacomo. But now at number 7, still trying to chase down this number 11 of Aaron Abel. Number 7 in his 2nd year, the 11 in his 3rd. You mentioned Travis Crampton being one of the veterans, 6 seasons, so he's not unfamiliar with the high stakes here. So we'll see if he's able to climb his way through. But right now, this top 3 kind of breaking away, but that number 45 is still keeping up.
Absolutely turning into maybe a top 4 breaker, as Fitzwater might be losing a little bit of pace with 31 of Owen Miles right behind him. The 2 Duncans
Now
going after
15.
it.
15 looking to the inside of the 8. Now he's going to get the pass off.
Very
very well.
Between Duncan Wood and Duncan Alliston, and it looks like everyone's just settling in here. And it's looking pretty good. I mentioned at the top of the show that Abel could be one of the drivers that could just win this one. But look at Monaco, he's closing in on Dylan Matthews, see for 2nd.
I think behind those RFK Racing drivers are battling for position. For a second there they looked pretty close, but I think they now have broken away from each other. Oh, that was very close. Almost nearly 3 wide between both of them there.
Oh my goodness, and this is something we can see later on tonight in the actual stories. Oh, that was
very
close.
I was mistook that number 4 as an RFK machine for a second with that Sunny D sponsor. But look at that number 1 of BB Ruiz. He's making his way through the field. He started last, and he's getting there, but he's got a long way to go.
These 2
here in the back, these guys. Yeah.
Goodness. The 2 Duncans are
here
going
in the back
at
to
it.
15. Yeah, I was gonna say here in the back, the 15 and 8 are going at it here for 7th. And it could be close here. They're going to short track racing, so it's going to be close and tight, but here we go up front.
Monaco takes second. And you mentioned Crampton, he might be a good driver to get into the top 2. And right now, Abel is pulling away, and we have a 3-car battle for second.
Dylan Matthews started on pole here in the All-Star Open, but now he's falling back quite a bit, but he's got his teammate of that 71 behind him. So we'll see if they're able to pull away from his teammate, but right now that number 45 trying to get past the number 16 of Monaco, but just settling in now, not doing too much, but that 16 going to run a little high there. Now there goes that 45 of Crampton.
One mistake, this track, you want to run the bottom as precisely as possible, and we saw Monaco slip up, and now allow Crampton to take second, and now Crampton's going to slip up, and now Monaco's going to do a crossover 1 lap later.
45 takes the exact line that number 16 took, and now he makes a mistake, and like you said, it's key to really run that bottom, and you don't want to make any sudden jolts or anything that could ruin your race, and that 16 going to capitalize on it here. It's going to be side by side, some great racing between these two, but you got to be consistent every lap, and you can't make any mistakes. I've seen it a lot before, and it's lost guys some races, but it's still early on, so if you want to make a mistake, now is the time to do it, and the 16 of Monaco is going to capitalize on and get back past that number 45.
Oh, did a slide job, and now Crampton's going to do the crossover. How about that from a dirt guy? As well as Crampton's going to do his crossover on the pavement track, and this is what we see a lot at New Smyrna, and these two are just going at it, and Crampton with a slide job with his own, and now the 16 is going to have 7 all behind him, and this is allowing Zachary Fitzgerald to get in this. I mean, we might have 4 drivers battling for the second and final transfer spot here, and is it good for me to say that we still have 50 laps left in this one? This is fantastic stuff all the way, but a great one from Aaron Abel, just dominating this one. And if he just does that, then he won't have to worry about it, but a great battle for second here.
I'll just say, if you're not number 11 of Aaron Abel, you like to see these guys battling because that allows you to gain time on them. But now they're settling down a little bit, but I think Monaco isn't going to settle in for too long and possibly look for a move here soon.
Looks like Crampton and Monaco, they are working together, and they said, hey, it's still 50 laps, we still have time for a scenario. Both of us can get into the All-Star race. Abel went wide in 1 and 2.
Not like the line 11 took there and to turn 1, and he lost a bit of time to that 45 and 16.
Oh boy. Is it bad for me to say that? I think Abel might not have a long one car, he might have a short one car here.
Yeah. He took that line once again in turn 1. I mean, he's led this race so far. I haven't watched him too much to see what line he's taken, but he's running that middle quite a lot here. We'll see what line he takes here. And now that 45 now, he's going to run wide. So the grip levels here at New Smyrna possibly challenging these drivers as they're struggling a little bit here. Now look at that number 16, Eric Monaco, looking back to the inside. Can he get the move off and going into turn 1? They're going to be side by side. And he's going to run him up the track a little bit. Some contact there possibly between the 16 and 45. And they're going to keep it going still. That 45, I don't know if that high line's going to work here. And that 16 looks to clear him here in the turn 1. I think he's going to do it possibly.
And he does. Monaco back up to the second place spot, and they will catch up with Aaron Abel. And you mentioned the grip level is very precise. You have to run the bottom. Crampton tried running the outside lane, but that didn't really work out. And if you slip up out of the grade like that, you can really lose the speed.
Yeah.
And now Crampton is under 5 from Dylan Matthews, and the more these battle, the more fits he might close back in.
I was just about to say that number 11's crew chief probably told him to settle down and hit your marks, but once again he runs wide, and now he's losing some time. But this number 7 and 45 don't make contact there. It was very close.
Oh, no.
But here comes that number 8 of Duncan Ward off the pit road, so RCR possibly having some
Fuel system issue.
Yeah, so RCR, I've experienced it in Krispy Kreme. Not the greatest season so far, but Ward now struggling quite a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be both of them into the All-Star race. We'll go to one, of course, one at Auto Club. Punched his ticket. but unfortunately not a good night for Duncan Wood. Crampton and Matthews going at it way high and doing turn 1, and that's going to allow Matthews
That
to
is
close
not going to
back
help that
in.
45 at all. So, as we get into this middle part of this race, you see the grip level starting to fall off, and some guys starting to make more and more mistakes. And now that number 16, Eric Monaco, he's driving away from these two, but now they have that number 71 closing in behind them. Fitzwater been very patient in this one, but now this 45 and 7 still going back and forth. That was a really good move by that number 45 there. Now he's going to look to the inside once again, so just some very tight close quarters racing, but that number 45 is going to get right past him. But let's see if he runs wide here, but I think he is going to get a good exit there, and yes he does. So now that number 7 might be under fire from his teammate of that 71 here soon.
Great job from Fitzwater staying inside the top 5. Monaco trying to close in on Alan Abel, and he is, and I think Abel might not have a long car, and I think Monaco, for the second year in a row, might have a really good shot at not only making it into the All-Star race, but winning the All-Star Open as well. Closing in a little bit on Abel last time by, and he's still closing in fast. And I mentioned that he's maybe starting to have some good momentum. He got a top 5 last week at Kansas, and he's trying to get his second straight Open win in a row.
Yeah, sitting 23rd in standing so far after I think 12 races this season. But at 16 now, he's keeping the same gap between him and that. Well, now he lost some time that lap, but he's really just got to hit his marks, and his crew chief's got to tell him to settle down, hit your marks. That number 45 has been making mistakes a lot in this middle part of this race, so just don't get caught up in it and just chase down this number 11, because this number 11, he's lost some time, and he's taking a really wide line in these turns, and I don't know how long that's going to work for him.
And I will say there is some Tyler, not a lot, but there is some, and that might be allowing some drivers to really have some good ones at some point in the races, and that might be what is happening for Crampton. He might have been saving his stuff, and now he's closing back in for Monaco for the second transfer spot here in the Open. About 30 laps to go here in the All-Star Open, and somehow with all the close racing, we've gone caution-free, but Crampton going for second here in the Open.
There goes Crampton. Crampton going to the inside now. Eric Monaco, you saw him run a little bit wide there. That 45 pounces on the opportunity. Oh, that number 16. I don't know if he made contact with the wall there, but it looks very, very close. So now there goes that 45 back into second now, but can he chase down his affiliate of that number 11? He's going to be back under pressure from the 16.
Oh yeah, this is not done yet for Monaco. I think realistically either one of these two could get this final spot, but unfortunately for Monaco and Crampton, only one of them can. And side by side once again, Monaco and Crampton.
I love that line that 16 took into the turn there. You saw the way he zipped it around the inside there? Yeah. That was perfect. And that might have been the best line we've seen anybody take all race. I mean, that was beautiful there from that number 16. Let's see if we can replicate it this time around. Close, but not as good as it was before. But man, oh man, what a line there by that 16. He's going to get right past the 45. Duncan Ward,
yeah, flush tires.
A lap down, but, you know, he's got some pace, it seems. 3 laps down, so yeah, his race is likely over unless some miracle happens, but he might pass lead lap cars with the fresh tires he does have on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tyler is affecting these guys at this point, and it's definitely going to be interesting. Of course, we ran this one last year for the Open and the All-Star race, and Monaco won that one, so I don't know if he's going to win, but he might get second here. But Crampton and Monaco still battling, and I don't know what Duncan Wood's going to do here, because he has fresh tires, but these guys are battling real hard for second.
Yeah. The way these guys are racing, you wish both of them would make it, but the way the 11's driving away right now, it looks like only one of them is going to make it. But that number 8 going to zoom on the inside, and if you're that number 8 of Duncan Ward, it just stinks as a driver when you have these fresh tires and you're able to pass these guys, and you think what could have been if you didn't get into the issues you had on pit road with that fuel system. And that was very close between that 16 and 45.
tight stuff, and think that we still have 150 laps later tonight in the All-Star race itself. That's gonna be a lot of fun, and this is why we brought this race to New Smyrna, because this is just fantastic racing. 4-second, another crossover move from Clampton and Marco, and I feel so bad that only one of them will make it in. 25 or less than 25 laps to go, now 22 left here in this one. And
I think that number 7 just, I might have made it, no, I thought he dove to the inside of 16 there, but he is now back into the picture here. And I thought that was going to go way worse than it did. These guys are still keeping it relatively clean so far, but the way they're racing, coming into these final 20 laps at the line, I think some stuff might pop off here.
And you mentioned that it's been fairly clean so far. Clampton's a 60 veteran, Marco in his third, and then Dylan Matthews in her second. And it might be a three-way battle for this final spot. I feel so bad for everyone here because only one of them make it. Whew.
If you're here and able, the way you see these guys battling right now, you love to see it because it's allowed you to drive away. Because we've seen if they all work together and close in, that number 11 is in real danger. So we'll see if Monaco and the 45 settle it down here a little bit. The final 20 laps, though, so I'm not quite sure that'll be the case, but anything can happen here. So these final couple laps will be something. Well, not final couple laps, but it's gonna be something to watch out for.
It looks like they might be maybe taking a little bit of a breather, trying to close in on Unable. And the interesting thing is that if these two catch up with Unable, then in theory, Clampton and Marco, or Marco and Matthews, or Matthews and Clampton can all get in. And unfortunately, it looks like the number 10, we might have lap traffic on our hands here in the open, and that could also play a wrench into things.
And there goes that number 7 to the inside. Dylan Matthews now making a move on Eric Monaco, so maybe he's getting some pace in the latter ends of this race after falling off at the beginning.
Short one car versus long one car. That might be what the 7 has.
If I learned anything from my league when it comes to lap traffic, the race isn't over until you get past them, and we'll see how well that number 11 is able to get past them, because if he gets held up, then that's going to be a perfect opportunity for the 45, 7, and 16 to all pounce on the opportunity to make it in.
Absolutely, and looks like Marco might have blown up his stuff here, trying to get back past the 7 of Dylan Matthews, but Dylan Matthews trying to close into Clampton. And looks like things are really calming down, but what a also open this has been. And this is just a preview of what we will see later on tonight. 24 cars, 150 laps, and the winner will get a automatic reserve into the Richard Holiday Statement Shootout later this year in October, the biggest special event on the channel. Doing something different with that, but this is now over. Matthews might be closing it in for second, and Fitzy is still inside the top 5. Good one. No, Miles is on pit road. Tire.
At number 30, tire damage, or well, probably just loose lug nut or something for that number 31, but he's down on pit road here. And this number 11 of Aaron Abel, 10 laps to go now. He's going to have that number 10 of Bruno Giacomo up ahead, the rookie. We'll see if he catches up to him and if he causes any issues, but the way it's looking right now, that number 11 is going to be fine for now. But that number 45, he possibly could be closing the gap here, but it's going to come down to the wire. And if you're the 45, you might just settle down and let the 7 and 16 battle and cruise your way in.
Yeah, that's another key point. For Clampton, he does not need to win. He is in second. He would be in as of now. But does he want to win? He's won several duels at Daytona. But does he want to win a Open? Maybe he wants another bucket list here in the JBL Cup Series. I don't know. But this is going to play a wrench into things. Bruno D'Alamo in number 10 might play a factor here. Abel has to get around the clean here.
I'm mistaken, as that number 11 is actually going to close in, and he's possibly going to be in here pretty soon, probably on lap 70 up here soon.
6 laps to go. Abel still has a 1.3 second lead. This is going to hurt him a little bit. but he's going to get to
think
the
that number
inside.
10, that number 10 is going to be nice. Let him get to the inside and get past them. Possibly, yeah. He's not going to really park the bus or anything. I think everybody ahead is a Ford, so, I mean, there's not really any Toyotas that would hold them up, but even at that, they're both Toyotas, so.
Yeah, we only got 2 Toyotas in the field and they are 1-2, so they definitely don't have to worry about lap traffic for Toyotas, but been a tough couple of weeks for Stuart Racing, and it's going to continue that way, as it does not look like either of the cars are going to make it into the actual All-Star race, besides the Saturday winner of Alexander in a row. But 3 laps to go for Enable, dominating performance here, and like I said at the top of the show, he had a good one at Kansas. He needed to win to get in. He was 11 points, 10 points outside of the top 10, but he might just win the Open and just say, hey, I'm just going to win the Open and get in no matter what.
Yes, indeed. This number 11 has had a great day for him and JGR. Almost led every lap in this race, and they're coming to the white flag now, and it looks like he's going to see himself in the show, along with that number 45, Travis Crampton, who's had a great day as well. That 45 was one of the guys I was on the edge about picking. Probably should have picked him, but the other guy fell victim to that Duncan Ward. But this number 45 does make it in, and so will the 11.
And Abel wins the All-Star Open in dominating fashion, and Travis Crampton, he survives a really tight battle with Dylan Matthews and Eric Monaco, and unfortunately for Monaco, he's not going to make it into the All-Star race. As like I said, I know the results of the fan vote, and to not many surprises, Zachary Fitzwater had 13 votes and Crampton had 11, so Crampton needed to get in for the top 2, but Zachary Fitzwater is the fan vote and he is in to the All-Star race.
Fans on the side of the 71 there for Zachary Fitzwater. He's going to make it in, and he was a pretty fast car. I mean, he kept up with this top 4 for as long as he could, and we'll see what he's able to do in the main show here tonight. And Crampton in second in voting, so he did need to get that top 2, which is good for him. And Dylan Matthews just comes up short, so does Eric Monaco. Monaco, we saw him run really well in that middle part of the race, but I think he used his stuff up too quickly, and fortunately it's not going to work out in the end for that number 16, and he's going to miss out on the All-Star this race after winning last year.
Tough way for Eric Monaco. There was a moment in time that I thought he might have won the whole shebang, and unfortunately, like you said, I think he brought up his stuff, and there's some title, not a lot, but you definitely have to manage with stuff, especially with being 75 laps. It's about 25 laps to get 75 laps in, so you have to manage with tires. And great one from Enable, absolutely dominated. Great one, great second place finish for Travis Crampton, and great one for Zachary Fitzwater. You know, he's a 4-season veteran. He's only won 1 time on Honda Channel, but he's won on basically almost everyone's channel on it. I know he's been going through a few things, but it's great to see him back here in the All-Star race, and he's gonna have a shot, a 1 in 24 shot at winning the 6th annual All-Star race later on tonight. What's the final thoughts after a crazy All-Star Open?
Yeah, it was an insane race. I enjoyed it. I like the close racing between the drivers there. That racing between number 45 and 16 had me on my toes, because I was like, hopefully these guys don't wreck each other and allow someone else to make it in, but they kept it clean. A lot of crossovers, and yeah, you mentioned Fitzwater, almost won in every channel you said, and yeah, I've seen this guy for a long time and seasoned veteran at this stuff, so not really shocked he won the fan vote. And yeah, so Dylan Matthews actually surprised me the way he got back up to 3rd in this race, because I thought he was going to fall way off and possibly get passed by the 71, but he kept it going, and it's going to work out as he gets a 3rd, but not work out in the way that he wanted to make the race.
Absolutely, still going to be a good momentum boost for Monaco and Matthews as we go into the longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600 next weekend. That's gonna be a lot of fun. One of my favorite races to do all year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love Charlotte as a track. That's one of the funnest ones, especially with all the patriotic schemes. And it's one of the longest, well, it is the longest race of the year, so it's always a treat.
Oh yeah, 100 laps, and of course got something a little bit special as well for the National Series race that you will be driving in. You guys will see that next week when that happens, but congratulations to Enable and Travis Clinton for 1-2 in the All-Star Open. And once again, congratulations to Fitzwater, Zachary Fitzwater, for winning the fan vote. Those 3 drivers will join the other 21 in a stacked 24 car field All-Star race. That is the max amount of cars we can have at New Smyrna. So it's funny that it worked out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. 150 laps, 2 segments, top 10 input in between segment 1 and segment 2, among a couple of other things. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for Charlie Davenport, I'm Nathan Stapleton. Congratulations to Abel, Crampton, and Fitzwater for all making it into the All-Star race. And we will see you guys very shortly here on the Battle Half Hour for the Season 6 All-Star race.